Hey mamas, we are back with another Q&A with our lovely and favorite Dana Lam with the surprise date challenge. Say that 10 times fast, right? I am so excited to have you today, Dana. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, we have a couple of questions that were written in today that we can chit chat about, and then whatever else
Okay.
comes up. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds good.
Awesome. So for those of you ladies who are meeting Dana for the first time, actually, I should ask her to introduce herself.
Well, sure. So I am one of the co-founders of the Surprise Date Challenge, which is all about helping couples to be the happiest couple they know by planning one surprise date a month for each other. And we've just really found that there's a need for this. A lot of times when we mention dating, couples instantly, or people in general, will think, oh, it's for single people, or are you a matchmaker? And it's all about re-educating people to date their spouse forever. So it doesn't matter if you've been together 3 months or 30 years, that you should always date your spouse. And this can really shift your relationship significantly.
I love that. And I have to say, testimonial here, because I did try out the surprise date challenge and it was one of the funnest, is funnest a word? One of the most fun.
Yes.
One of the most fun nights that we've had in our entire relationship. And my husband and I are coming up on 6 years of marriage and just a little over 7 together. So things kind of plateau out a little bit at that point. Right. They get a little, boring and monotonous. So thank you again, because that night was so much fun. So I'm going to test on this.
And was it something different that you maybe wouldn't have normally picked or normally have done?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, we actually went to the botanical gardens in Phoenix, right by the zoo. During one of their, I don't remember the name of it, but it's when everything is all lit up. It was nighttime.
Right. Yes.
So
cool. I can't remember the name of it either. It wasn't Lit and Sip, because they have that, and I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, it's so nice it was cool because didn't the cactuses look like they were like underwater, like it was coral or something to the music. It was just very hypnotizing and romantic.
It was. That big hill was all underwater kind of. It was awesome, Dana. And we had dinner right at that. Is it Chelsea?
Gertrude's.
Chelsea's.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But Gertrude's amazing food. Got a sitter. It was so nice to just walk around. Yeah.
And what did that do for your, for your relationship? Because you guys work together too, right?
Yeah. So we're parents, we're married, we work together mostly from home. So we're together all the time.
Right. Right.
What that allowed us to do, now that you ask, I'll tell you, it gave us a moment to focus on ourselves, and we actually learned something about each other that night that we didn't know, which was really cool. It gave us a minute to sort of, let's not talk about work. Let's not talk about the kid. Let's not talk about what chores need to be done. And we connected. It was really nice.
Right. Yes, that's what we hear a lot. We have one of our new date clients that we do custom dates for. He and his girlfriend have been together for 6 years. And when I asked him how was the date, we planned a culinary cooking class for them. And he confessed that they had been hit a rough patch. And I didn't know that, but he said, I can't believe how planning one surprise date for her changed her attitude about me and changed her attitude about our relationship. And I'm planning their 3rd date right now. And that's what he said. He goes, it's so great. He goes, I have to think about so many things, because I was asking him, I said, well, do you want some more input on what kind of date do you want to create? And he goes, you know what, just surprise me. He goes, I have to think about so many things on a daily basis. He goes, I love it when I open your email and it's a surprise to me, even though he's surprising her. But when he opens it, it's a surprise. It's like, oh, we're doing axe throwing this month, and, going to this little restaurant, Cafe Boa in Tempe that they had never been to before, and, learning about new places and going to new parts of town. And he enjoys the surprise just as much, and that he just has to book it.
So it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
Oh, I love that. What a great story. So just briefly, you just run down kind of your services so people understand, because you plan dates for people, but then you also we'll give them suggestions. They can plan it themselves. Am I right?
Yeah. We want to work. Some people I know would like to be hands-on and they maybe want to have a little control. So that's fine. We have our date ideas page and we are bringing new partners on all the time. So I think we have about 40 partners that are in Arizona right now. And we are going to be expanding to Southern California, Las Vegas, and across the country eventually. But right now we're covering Arizona. We'll be adding Tucson, some partners in Tucson soon. So you can just, if you want to do it yourself, just you can go there and you know that these are great companies that you can count on and get some great deals and just book it yourself. And we have our discount codes available. And then, but if you'd like some more help, and we're probably going to raise the price on this soon, but the date of the month is $10 a month. And
Wow.
yeah. So what you get for that is you get a date idea for the month. You get an invitation that is mysterious to invite your partner so they won't know what you're doing and you can keep it a surprise. We give you all the details so you know what time you can book it, where it's at, where it's located. We give you pre and post date activities, a gift idea, not necessarily for that date, but just a gift idea that we think is cool, you may not be aware of. And we give you conversation starters, just like you were talking about. We tend to go out and we talk about the kids and work. Mm-hmm. But what if you talk about something, you know, what's your superpower? Or if you could have lunch with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? I mean, do you know who your husband would pick?
No.
Yeah. And wouldn't that be more interesting than talking about work or the plumbing or whatever it needs to be?
100%. Yeah.
Addressed. So we give you conversation starters. And then if you go and do a date and then you go to dinner or have cocktails and you have your conversation starters, it just gives you something more interesting to talk about. There's a clergyman from the 1700s who said, happiness is having someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. And I think Surprise Date Challenge encompasses that. So right now we're offering, you can do the date of the month for free for the first month and $10 a month after that.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we added for August, actually because of MOMnation, somebody asked a question on one of my live posts that I did, and they said, what about like inexpensive dates? And so we decided to add at-home dates. So you not only get a going out date, but you get an at-home date that is free or inexpensive every single month.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, let's just jump right into it. So we have a question from our Arizona group.
Okay.
And it's a little bit of a long one, so bear with me here.
Okay.
She writes in, I was wanting to know how to work on getting past the little things about your partner that bug you, like their weird comments or their love handles. We have had a rocky few years with medical issues, juggling multiple children, teenagers, the whole thing. We are growing back together and he likes everything about me, but I still can't connect fully because it's not 100% natural attraction. Any suggestions would be beneficial.
Okay. So it sounds like he's maybe gained a few pounds and has some love handles and he's not as attractive to her maybe right now.
Sounds like.
And the other issue is that does he make snide remarks or things that he says maybe that aren't supportive towards her, or
he just describes it as weird comments?
Okay. Yes. And I think, those are two different issues and it is really important. I understand that. I used to be an image consultant and I worked with matchmakers, and it was a lot of people who were divorced, who just got divorced, were trying to find love, and I would go in, clean their closet out and take them shopping. And that's one of the things that I addressed with them. And not to say that just because you gained a few pounds, you're going to get divorced. But if that wasn't if that's not what you signed up for, it's almost like a bait and switch, right?
Right.
And so if that's something that's really important to you, I mean, one of the things you may just try to do is holistically together as a family, or at least the two of you, changing your eating habits so you can be supportive in that way. So working with them, if they're not open to suggestions or maybe doing it on your own, could you go to the gym together, go to yoga together, go for, any kind of movement, walks, bike rides. I know it's a little warm right now, but to help with their physical appearance. And that is one of the things that I actually just met an image consultant, and I want to have her on and do a blog because I think that's so important. Right? We're always attracted to the beautiful, the celebrities. And then sometimes the other day, actually, I just posted that it was 3:00 and my son said, "Are you still wearing your pajamas, Mom?" And I hadn't showered yet. And so I went and showered and put my makeup on, and Marty's like, "Why are you doing that?" You're like, "So you're going to be going to bed soon." And I said, "Well, because I didn't want to look like that for him. I didn't want to be lazy." So I think it's all about the awareness. And there is a way that you can approach your partner about that without being mean.
Mm-hmm. So communication is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Any suggestions on how to enter into that conversation?
Well, I mean, you could do it also together. It really depends on the person. You've I think too, and you know how you can communicate. So it's using loving communication. I would try something such as, "Wow, I feel," you can even talk about yourself. "I feel like, I could really be eating a little healthier."
Mm-hmm.
Or or maybe I need to, or "I feel like I could use a little bit more exercise. And what would motivate me is if we did it together. Is that something that you're interested in? Should we maybe look at, changing it?" And it's really 80% food, honestly.
Truly. I agree.
It really is food. So I would focus on the food more than the exercise, and what are you buying and bringing into the house. And I guess if you primarily do all the shopping, that's pretty easy, because you just stop buying unhealthy things. Stay at the outside of the store with the healthier, fresh foods. So that would be one way to do it, as far as that goes. Regarding remarks, that's really hard. I think we have to learn to live with people. Everybody's different. And it is really interesting how when you first meet somebody, you find these things so adorable and cute about them. And 3 years later, like the same exact thing is like fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yep.
That they irritate you. So I would, I guess what you really have to look at is it that big of a deal, and how important it is, and I don't want to say choose your battles wisely, but are there things that you can move past if it really does bother you? Again, approaching it in a childlike way. And I wish I had an exact example, then it would be easier for me. I don't know if you can think of anything off the top of your head, but the other day, I'll use my own relationship. So the other day, Marty and I were talking about business, because Marty and I are in business together with the Surprise Date Challenge. And he was talking about what wasn't going right. And he brought it up, and I said, I know you're normally such a positive person, but do you realize in the past couple days that you've just really pointed out what's not going right instead of what is going right? And I don't know, I'm going to turn this around. I'm actually in my dining room right now, but here is, I don't know if you can see that, but that is our winning wall. And it's
cool.
A giant mirror. And our business coach, Dana Patton, is awesome. She actually suggested that. And so we have little sticky notes of all the things that are going right. And I pointed that out to him, and I said, "Look at our winning wall. I mean, we sell books every single day on Amazon to strangers, which is amazing for, honestly, we're not famous. We're not right now.
Yep.
We're not a known author, and we have new date partners that, and we get commission checks from, referrals. And we have new clients who are a part of our date of the month, like every day. And so I really wanted to look at, is it as fast as we want it to go? Maybe not. We always want everything always seems to take longer than you want. So I just pointed out, and I said, can we try to just shift our language a little bit with that? And I understand, like, some things you need to talk about and bring up. So that was just one way that I approached it with him, is to just try to be a little more positive.
And instead of saying, "Look, you're really negative," and, pointing the finger and going at it like that, it was kind of more conversational and more about the way you're feeling.
Right. It was about how it made me feel. And I said, it deflates me a little bit when, are you correct in some ways? Yes, but it's a little bit deflating. And are we creating more of that? With that talk, are we creating more of what we don't want instead of what we do want?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So he, he sat for a minute and listened, and then we hugged it out.
Oh, love it. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Next question actually comes from our New Hampshire group.
Okay.
And here she goes. How can you make time for just us when we have 4 kids? One is a toddler, and my significant other works out of town Monday through Friday. By the time he's home, I'm ready to be out of the house. And of course, he just wants to be home hanging with the kids because he's never there and misses them.
That's a really, tough one.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, it's interesting because I've heard some presidential candidates talking about that lately too, about how hard it is on relationships when people are like, they were talking about like truck driving industry where they're gone all week and away from their families, and how challenging that can be. So I think it's really important that you find balance, because of course he wants to see the kids too. And that's what the surprise date challenge is really about, planning one surprise date a month. So for each other. So if she were to plan, if she can get her husband on board with that, and we're talking about, it could be a 2-hour date. So really, literally 4 hours a month. Couldn't you hire a babysitter or find somebody to trade or watch your kids for a couple of hours so that you can go and be alone, just like we were talking about with you and your husband?
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking about work. You're not talking about the kids. I mean, out of a whole month, 4 hours a month, who can't really do that? And so then the other 2, so that would just be 2 weekends a month that he's home. So the other 2, maybe the other 2 weekends a month, is all about family.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weekends that, 2 of the weekends that he's home, one weekend he would plan a surprise date for her, and she would plan a surprise date for him. And if there's any issue with childcare, or what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I love it. And I've even heard in the past, because we know each other and we've been around each other for a little while, but I've heard you say in the past that, let's think outside the box a little bit, because it can be fun just to stay home. Mm-hmm. And you have different ideas, like maybe after, the kids go to bed, because I actually know her. So the young children that she's talking about probably go to bed early.
Right.
And then maybe if he's tired, I get that. She does want to get out of the house. I understand that. But what if there was something that was exciting, that was fun to be done there, that she can kind of feel like she's not home, even though she is, you know what I mean? Like, any ideas?
Right. Yes. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do at home. You could do an art class or something. You can buy all the little paints. I mean, you can order it from Amazon. You can order the little mini easels. And there's also another company in Oregon, I think it's in Bend, Oregon, but you can order, the wood plank boards.
Yes.
Actually, we have one like that. See?
Oh, cool.
So that was not made. That was actually art that was purchased, but they have smaller ones that you can order from this company in Bend, and you pick the paint colors, and they'll even give you stencils and stuff like that, or you can just freeform it. So you could order 2 of those kits for yourself, and then have a glass of wine or a cocktail or something, and have a little paint night at home. Or even just going to Michael's or Amazon, you can order those little mini canvases. Even at the dollar store, I've seen those little mini canvases with the acrylic paints.
Yep.
And you can create your own little paint night. And I am so not creative in that area. So I like to look at Pinterest beforehand and steal shamelessly somebody else's brilliant idea. So that's a great inexpensive date night at home. I love scavenger hunts too.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
So, that might be something, if he comes home on a Friday, is send a little text to him to say, and I know he might be tired or whatever, but she's excited to see him. Send him a text and give the first clue. So for example, I did one with Marty, and he was out, and I said, okay, well, when you come home, you need to find something that is, you need to go to a place. I said, here's the clue. That's what it was. Here's the clue. And I said something like, you're really good at selecting this beverage. and it was wine. So he had to go to the wine fridge. And in the wine fridge was a little sticky note, just on a Post-it note. I mean, you could put it on anything. You could get fancy if you want, or just put it on a piece of paper, or a Post-it note was the next clue, which was like, you really light me up. So it was in the chandelier in the dining room, but it could have been in a lot of, we play kind of hot and cold, because I don't know if my clues were bad or he's been bad at scavenger hunts, but I would be like, oh, you're really cold. You know? and, and then it ended in the bedroom, and you can get those little flower petals, the fake ones. I used real ones once, and they stained like the carpet. So
yeah,
it's better to get the silk ones, and you can reuse them, right? And so do you have some candles lit in the bedroom, and some little, the silk flower petals around, and have a little outfit laid out for yourself, or maybe under your clothes, you're wearing a sexy little outfit, and have Alexa or whatever you use, your Google app, playing some great romantic music that you love. And it's all really about setting the mood. And the other thing, if he's gone all week, anticipation is so great. I mean, if she sent him some sexy selfie pictures of her, some little text messages about her thinking about him, I think that would get him excited while they're apart, or her excited too. I mean, both of them excited while they're apart, to be excited when he comes home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and maybe he won't be so tired.
Exactly. So
I love it.
Mm-hmm. You can make a tent over, and we have a lot of ideas in the Surprise Date Challenge book, which is available on Amazon. But you can do a tent over your bed, just get some fabric, or even a plastic tablecloth. You want something light so it doesn't fall down. Although we had a tent fall on us once when we were in it, and it was that made it fun too, right?
That's hilarious.
Yes, we were laughing really hard, so it was entertaining.
Love it. Well, I am out of pre-questions. But I just wanted to ask you, you've been doing this for quite a while. What are you seeing the most as far as obstacles for couples getting out there and doing this?
I think the biggest thing is making the time and the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if couples really care about their relationship, and it's really important to them to really sit down as a couple and say, that this is really, if we want to last a lifetime and really be happy and not just exist, because so many couples, I think, just go through the motions and just exist, and they're not truly happy, and they're just trying to we can get the kids out of the house, and then what? Then you're empty nesters, and you don't even know your partner, and you can do some of the small things. And I really believe it's, making the commitment to a date. And if 2 dates a month is too much for you, then do 1 a month. So I know some people who she plans it 1 month and he does it the next month. So you have to find what works for you. And then there's other people who don't have kids and they do it every week. They'll have a date night. So this is just a suggestion, but it is amazing what having a dedicated date night for you and your partner a couple times a month, where you don't talk about work and the kids, and you really get to know each other better, is huge. And you don't need you can do it yourself too. Mm-hmm. If you have the time and you can Google conversation starter questions. There are a ton of them out there. The internet is so great, but it takes time to do that. So I would really recommend trying that out, because we think you're with your partner for, like you said, even 7 years, and you don't know who he would choose to have dinner with.
Nope.
We just posted that question in our Facebook group, and there's a couple on there that is so adorable. And she said to her husband, she said, "Oh, hey, I'm looking for, I can't wait to hear what your answer is." And his reply was, it actually made me cry. He said, "Your mama." And he said, and it's not a mama joke, because she must have passed away and he had never met her. He said, "I've heard so many great things about your mom and I never got to meet her." And just the banter back and forth between the two of them, we would post for the month of July, we did a couples challenge, and we posted different tips and things. And every week we posted a different conversation starter for the week. And that's just one that really stuck out. So honestly, Marty and I haven't sat down. We ask questions and we do stuff like that all the time, but actually that isn't one that I've asked him. So I don't even know who he would choose. And it would be interesting to hear that. So get a little creative.
Totally agree. Awesome, Dana. Well, I appreciate it. As always, it's very, very cool to talk to you. So thank you for being with us today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And how can our audience reach out to you if they would like to?
Sure. Well, you can find me on Facebook and send me any messages there. So if you didn't get your question today answered or want more, please feel free to reach out to me. Our website is surprisedatechallenge.com, and you can sign up for the free Surprise Date Club there to get free date ideas.
Awesome. And we will be here again next month.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.